Conspiracy Worldwide Radio. Time to get out our first guest of the evening. It's a pleasure. We want to speak to this man for many, many years. He's with us now tonight. High Focus's very own Dirty Dike. Welcome to the show.
Hello, mate. How's it going? You all right?
Yeah, we're doing well tonight, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. Just sitting at home having a chilled one.
That's what it's all about. Now, you need a bit of a rest, don't you, after Boom Bap Festival? That was quite an event this year.
Yeah, tell me about it. Zero sleep, too much fun for one man.
What's the worth of that festival now in 2014, in your personal opinion? Because it's one of the biggest events for quality UK hip hop out in the UK. But as an artist performing there, I think Ghostface was up there this year. What is the worth of that for artists now in 2014?
I mean, it's a big thing. Like, I mean, it started small, but it's grown tremendously. I think it offers like an amazing platform for everybody because there's not much. Everyone's quite self-sufficient with their own little independent thing going on. It's good to. It's an amazing place to get everyone together, sort of thing. Everyone's there with their little hustle and they're doing everything. They're linking, they're doing the open mics and watching each other's shows. And there's a good vibe. I think it's important. I think it's an important part of the scene. You know, I think it's.
One of the big criticisms of the whole UK scene has been that the fans think they can do it better than the artists. You know, you get a lot of audiences stand there with their arms folded, watching, thinking, "Nah, he messed those bars up." I get the feeling at Boom Bap, from my experience, it's not like that, is it? Like you said, it's about networking.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, all that chin stroking, pretentiousness, it's all good. But people want to have a party, and especially at a festival, it's not going to work with that attitude. It's a festival, and it's people. Yes, I personally, and I know a lot of other people do, try and encourage that vibe, and you know, celebrate, have a laugh. Don't try not to judge everyone else and be better than ever. Compete. There's no room for the competitiveness, really.
Yeah. Now, I've spoken to a lot of your label mates over the past few months here on the show, from Edward Scissortongue to BVA, you know, all the people that have been, Jam Bax has been up on here, a whole heap of people.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you now. We spoke to them about their process of putting things together and their careers, but I wanted to speak about something very exciting that I've been handed from High Focus just this week. Rag and Bone Man, Put That Soul on Me. Now, you're handling the production on this, so I want to come at you talking production at this moment in time. How long? I mean, is this something that's been brewing in you for years, and you just wanted to express it and become known as somebody who is not just an incredible MC, but also an amazing producer, or is it something that's just recently you felt the confidence to leap into?
I mean, I've always dabbled in that. Like once upon a time, it was like an incomprehensible concept. I didn't even know how or what that was, but I don't know, you just take a natural interest, don't you, in something that you're into, which was rapping, and you kind of dig a little deeper, and then you dig a bit more deeper, and then you find out the sort of science and stuff behind it, and it just sucks you in on that. I've been making beats and that for a long time. I started making beats, I don't know, quite a while ago, not really ever with the idea of production, like producing something, but pissing around with things and that, and looping stuff. But yeah, it's only recently where I'm like, now I've got bits and bobs and stuff. I've been accumulating things I've been making for years, where I'm like learning how to sort of finalize mixes and get things tight and kind of make them into proper songs or proper actual tracks rather than just a beat on my drum machine or whatever. And yeah, this is something I'm new to, and I'm looking to sort of put out quite a lot of production in the next few months.
What would you say you've learned in working with Mr. Constant and Pete Cannon that you've been able to transfer on this project and working with Rag and Bone Man?
Well, like Mr. Constant, I'm not going to say he taught me nothing, but physically he taught me nothing. Like, actually, he just made these beats, and I was like, what the hell are you using to do that? And he was like, an MPC. So I guess he taught me everything at the same time as teaching me nothing, because I just went and got one because he was using one, and I knew that his beats sounded a certain way, and I was like, I want that. I know a lot of people that make beats, but why do his sound like that banging shit? So I went and bought one and then worked out how to use it. And then Pete Cannon's just a godsend because he knows everything. If you need some, like, you know, he's just a wizard with it. He's been making music for God knows how long, since he was a kid. So whenever I'm like, you know, if there's something I'm getting severely stuck on, because I'm not a very patient man with that sort of stuff, I can like call him and be like, why does this screen say that? And I'm stuck on this shit and I can't make it work. So he's well useful for that. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think there's any style adoption in there or anything like that. I'm kind of governed by what samples I find. I love digging to samples, and they kind of depict which direction my music goes in a lot of the time. And I listen to a lot of soul and old Motown.
Dope. You said that one of the goals with this project is, of course, trying to perfect that mix down and mastering. Now, we're going to be talking to Bob Power, mixer and engineer behind such classic albums as Tribe Called Quest and The Roots, De La Soul, and you already know, so forth.
Yeah.
Now, it goes without saying a good mix can either make or break a song. Talk about the importance of Naive in your music for those who don't know, being that he's been such a silent figure in the background of your career.
Yeah. Well, Naive's a guy. He's just an amazing producer with a really unique, final polished sound. The way he finalizes things is very unique and powerful, as is Pete Cannon's. I mean, he's been as important as Pete. Like, he finalizes my project. He finalized his half of Return of the Twat, and he finalized all the Constant Dike stuff. He's like, massively important in it. And he's also like responsible for the production on all of Leaf Dog's album and all the tactical thinking stuff with Pete Cannon as well. But he is quite a background guy, but then he's not that outgoing as a character anyway. But I don't know. Like, yeah. I mean, they're all very important to the whole process.
You're in a blessed position to be able to talk samples of so many producers that we speak to nowadays, and some of the legends that we all grew up with that say that sampling is just something they can't do now. They can't afford it. So how does that come into the equation, having to afford samples, or are we keeping it total sample snitch free and let's just go for it?
We've had some scrapes, like, I don't know, like sometimes samples get cleared, sometimes it don't even get noticed. Sometimes I personally don't really care. Like, come get me if you want, but like, I don't know. I just I dig for obscure bits as I can, or at least I think. But you know, I'm not that educated with my records and that. But you know, I just try not to pick anything too bait and chop things up a bit and hope for the best, innit?
Yeah, what's not ironic, but in a pleasant way ironic, is the actual title, Put That Soul on Me, because I feel lyrically that's something you've really done to us all in the UK. You've blessed us throughout all your releases with soul on the mic. You've added that soul, something that I feel, at least, has been missing from UK hip-hop for a long time. There's been a lot of technically, brilliantly gifted music being made, but it doesn't have that soul, and that's something that you've definitely brought to the table lyrically.
Oh, that's nice to hear. Thank you very much.
Now, what about that? How do you feel about that? Do you feel that UK hip-hop has been striving to be a perfectionist and not really looking at that element that people want more than that? They want more than just passion and skills. They want something that is going to speak to them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what people want, I get, really. Like, I try and calculate what I think people want, and then I realise that's not really why I'm making music, is it? I'm very selfish with my product, with what I make. It's more... I find the minute I start thinking about what other people want, it's not really, again, you're losing the soul. Like, the passion and the soul is disappearing rapidly because you're immediately catering for what you think someone wants. I try not to do that, and when I catch myself doing it, I try and stop myself, basically.
Can we expect more introspection?
I mean, yeah, you can. There's a lot of I'm not really sure where this album's going at the moment. It's quite a confused album, this next one I'm about to do. I can't really tell you what it's called yet, but it's seafood related, and it's got a lot of like reflective kind of down tempo, slow, some very synthesized bass tracks that aren't even hip hop, I'd say, which is a bit like. But then some of them are real like grimy, like muddy drums, sound like they're made on a fucking tape, like. Kind of beats as well, so I'm in a bit of a like mishmash of trying to construct it into a cohesive project, because there's all different producers on this one, and but there is going to be quite a lot of stuff that isn't bouncy, jump around, be a tosser, as much as there is.
Yeah. See, any other artist we had on tonight who said, I can't tell you the title, but it's seafood based. Any other artist, UK wise, like Ty or somebody would be like, this must be something deep. Is it about sharks? Is it about this? But I've got an awful feeling about this one, Dirty Dike.
I really want to tell you, but I can tell you. Sorry, it don't really matter, because like It's coming out and shit. Yeah, it's going to be called Sucking on Prawns in the Moonlight. And it was the title was spawned. I like prawns. I'm into prawns. I'm into the way they look. I'm into the way they taste. I'm into them. I think they're good. And I was cruising around in Crete with my girlfriend trying to find somewhere I could get a load of prawns so I could sit in the moonlight. And I was babbling these drunken slurs, and one of them was, "I just want to be sucking on prawns in the moonlight." She was like, "That's an album title." I was like, "Fuck yeah."
There you go, everybody. There you go.
There's not much depth to it at all, really.
No, like I said, other artists, there'd be some deep philosophy. Maybe even some of your label mates, like Edward Scissortongue. There'd be something very deep, wouldn't there? But you literally were just wanting some prawns when you were drunk in the moonlight. It's perfect.
Yeah, keep it simple. Don't stress yourself out. That's my motto.
Exactly, I totally agree with that. You mentioned a lot of things all created, all sat around at the moment. I'm taking it that there's no cohesion as such yet with this album, and it might be a few months before we'd all hear it.
I mean, yeah, it's just weird. It's a lot of weirdness. Like, it's a lot of like weird sort of thoughts and stuff. There's no like clear path or direction or message for the album. It's just a lot of trail of thought. I find there's a few ones with a message and that, and yeah, it's going to be a little while before it's ready and stuff. I've still got a lot of work to do on it, as well as all the other side of it with the videos and the artwork and stuff. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the artwork. That's going to be fun. But yeah, it's going to be a little while before it's out. I've got other projects I've produced coming out before then. I've just produced an album for Lee Scott called Butterfly, which should be out on High Focus in the next sort of, I don't know, 3 months or so. We're just finalising bits and bobs of that. I'm working on an album for Dr. Scuff at the moment, producing that for him. That's going to be coming out at some point in the future. I don't know when. There's no real date on that either. Yeah, there's a few bits as well. Producing lots of bits for Remus from Task Force,
nice.
Son of Farmer G. You know about this kid? He's killing it at the moment. He's been chucking beats at him for his album. They're all sounding well nice. Yes, again, lots of productions taking up my time, which is probably why it's slowing down this solo project actually coming together as a digestible thing for the public to consume.
Yeah, the digestible prawn. But what I will say is, when it comes to production, I feel like your confidence is sky high now at the moment to produce for other artists. What about your confidence for producing for yourself? I mean, are you producing many cuts on this new joint? Yeah,
I've done about 4 of the beats for the new album actually myself, which is kind of a weird. It's weird, I think. Like, it's not just writing for your own beats. I keep saying the word weird, and I hate that word. It's such a word. It's not so like non-descriptive. But yeah, it's after you've made a beat for an amount of time, the last thing I want to do is sit down and try and get inspired to write to it. So I end up with sort of good beat. I think of a good rapper that I want to work with and give it to them. But there is about 4 on there that I've managed to salvage for my own stuff, and I'm well happy with them. So I think they're going to stay on there. One day I'll produce my own whole thing, but it's not a question of confidence in the beats. It's not like I'm giving my beats to other rappers because I don't think they're good enough for me. It's just it's running out of inspiration after working on that beat for an amount of time, and then when I write, it's because I hear a beat and then I'm like, pow, I want to write something now, and I'll put it out, and it would normally get done in one sitting. It won't be like it has to be an instant inspirational thing for me to write. It's rare that I write. I don't just sit around writing at all. I write at special points in weird situations. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
There's something incredibly creative about yourself which doesn't limit you to a UK audience. Now, and ask this question, you might have plans, or even on this new album you've already set things up, but what about following the path of people like Leaf Dog and starting to push yourself towards the US and starting to get some of the artists that you've grown up admiring from the US on your records, even you on their records?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bit of interest over there. I've been like talking to J-Zone, and he's been throwing some beats at me, and I've been doing some little demos and sending it back to him. And like a few other artists over in the US, I've got a mate over there who's been DJing over there, and he's been meeting people, and people are talking whatever. But then I think the Owls are talking with some people over there, and Leaf Dog's obviously working with a lot of US artists and stuff. But I don't know, man. I've never been like, I don't know, like I take everything as it comes. I'm not really like pushing for any sort of, right, I'm going to take over this country and then I'm going to move to Australia and do like, I don't really know. It's all just quite fascinating as it just sort of comes to you. You accept it, like, what the fuck is going on now? Where am I going? And, do you know what I mean? I have no sort of calculated plan to push anything into a direct country or something like that.
Yeah, it's enjoyment, isn't it? That's what it's about. It's about enjoyment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just having a nice time. That's one thing I'm not good at is sometimes I forget that it is actually my job sometimes, and it isn't just like a big old like, well, hey, let's fucking go and let's just enjoy the good bits, and like, because without a little bit of discipline, it does go wrong. But yeah, I don't know. I'm looking to go over to New York just to visit, really.
Yeah.
What about Lord Luss? Because you're connected with him, did he? From I think it's North Carolina. He's based.
But I met him through this record label called CMF, Crazy Motherfuckers from Toulouse. A friend of mine, he was into my music. Lord Luss, and got in touch. I listened to his. I was like, sick. You're cool. Send him some beats. And then we got chatting, and he was with this label CMF in Toulouse, and he was doing a show. He asked if I could be flown over by his label, and they flew me over, and then I ended up becoming friends with the guy around the label. We stayed in touch and shit, and he's a sound guy. I still chat to him.
Can we expect a Contact Play album in the future?
I hope so. I mean, shit, our fans often say like, when's that? And I'm like, in it. I want it as much as they do, but it's about getting us 5 people into the same place in the same. It was a time when that happened, kind of thing. It was more of a. Do you know what I mean? We were all in Brighton, all on the same sort of confused stage of mass. It was like, it was, we're never really together to do that, but we always talk about it, and we also see each other just as much. It's just we're kind of individuals and doing our own things just in life, not just creatively, but our lives are all quite different, despite us all getting together for gigs and seeing each other all the time. I don't know. I reckon, one day that will happen.
Yeah, I'd like to think so, man. I think I really highly rate the first one. I think it's a classic, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was something we're all quite proud of, and we all, like I say, we all push for that and send each other verses, and let's try and get something going. But at that point we had one studio in Brighton, and it wasn't ours. We were just kids who were like, "Whoa, we can record at this place," and it was our mate who lived there. So we used to all in turn go there, and every day he would go there, and he'd be like, "Oh, Baxter came around yesterday," and I'm like, "Oh, sick. What did he lay down?" And he'd have just put down a 16 and half a chorus, and I'd be like, "Oh, sick. Let me go on it." Then I'd go on it, and then I'd leave, and then Bosch would come round down from London one weekend to stay with Baxter. They'd both go back and be like, "Oh, we should get Bosch on the chorus," and tunes would just sort of evolve within this weird house that everyone used to sort of hang about in Brighton, and that's how the album got made, really. And we don't have that sort of hub, that weird sort of place anymore where everyone just hangs out, like the place kind of thing, because everyone's a bit older and has their own individual responsibilities or whatever. Or they're just, I don't know, But it's one of them. We could make a new one and calculatedly book a studio and do it all like that, but I don't think it would be the same. I think we all need to be like locked in a warehouse for 2 months or whatever with, some drugs, booze, and a drum machine, and just try.
A packet of prawns too. Can't forget that packet of prawns.
Moonlight business.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. Now, what about, speaking of collaborations, have you thought about recording a sequel to future Posse Cut 1000? Maybe a future...
I'm actually in the process of doing that at the moment.
Oh.
Really? Could you reveal any names?
No, I ain't going to ruin the surprise. It's good. It's good. It's a good lineup, I can tell you that. But I can't give it away because that would just devalue my project.
Is it a bigger lineup this time?
I'm not actually sure. I haven't stopped to have a count, and I'm still potentially adding more because I just let them ones grow with just an open door, and I'm like, it comes to me, I'm like, he needs to get on this, depending on what the last verse I got off someone. But I've got the beginning MC and the end MC locked, and they're purposefully placed where they are, and it all makes sense when it comes out.
How many MCs are we at as of right now?
Hang on a sec. Let me just have a little rethink.
Just read the names out if you want while you're counting.
I'm trying not to do that in my head. I think there's 9 on there at the moment.
Let's just touch on one final thing. I don't want to labour this point because I don't feel we need the mainstream radio anymore. But in terms of your label mates, like with Scissor Tone, they're getting a lot of acceptance, I think, from some of the BBC local stations and these sort of things. What about yourself? Do you ever feel the door shut slightly because of the type of creative artist and MC you are? Or is the door, do you think, still open?
I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah, good.
Well, like, as for the local BBC ones and stuff like that, those doors are open for me. Maybe I don't go and see old Tom enough at the BBC Cambridge Radio or whatever, but I don't know. Like, I don't know if they're closed or open or what. I mean, shit, I had a Sony meeting not so long ago. Like, I think they're they're definitely still open. In fact, thinking about it, I mean, I don't appear much on like local FM radio shows or mainstream shows really, but
yeah,
I reckon there's potential for it. I don't think it's too cutting, and people do mention, but then maybe it is. I don't know. I don't really mind. It does all right without it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You might make it onto Trevor Nelson's show after all. Do you know what I mean? It was worth it then. But
right.
Yeah, no doubts, man. We've got a few listener questions firing as well tonight. People know you're coming on. Let's have a look at these, just completely random. As you can expect, your fans love you. They're very similar to your lyrics. Will Dirty Dike sign my micro pig?
Will I sign your micro? Definitely, yeah. I'll sign a micro pig, 100%.
100%.
Is that one of those pigs that stays little forever?
It is.
Yeah. I'll sign a micro pig.
Yeah, no doubts. All right, well, that's going to be one happy listener. Another listener is saying, on your album, you haven't mentioned collaborations yet. Are you able to reveal anybody? Will Stig of the Dump be on the joint?
Will I be able to reveal any Will Stig of the Dump be on the joint? I'm not going to tell you who's on the project. I like to keep the collabs, the features and stuff secret.
Yeah, last question was from Stig of the Dump. If you had a movie, there's another question here. They won't stop. If you had a movie, who would you want to play you? If you had the film would just be called Dirty Dike. What actor would you want to play you? I think the listener's saying.
Oh, fuck. What actor would I want to play? That's a good question, and I'm not sure if I've got an answer for it. Steve Martin.
Steve Martin. Perfect. We'll make that happen tonight. Okay, and finally then, a UK tour. Will there be a new UK tour? Is it coming? When will it be?
As soon as I release the album. Do the tour with the album. Tour the album.
All right, excellent. And that album, I mean, we said a few months away. You're not quite sure yet, are you, when that is going to drop? I think you've already said that. Someone's asking when's the album. When can we buy it?
Yeah, I've still got work to do. I don't want to say something and it turns out to be bullshit. Right?
Yeah. All right, man, Dopes. Listen, Dirty Dike, it's been an absolute pleasure to finally speak to yourself. I'm hoping we'll stay in touch. We'll talk again closer to the album coming out. And I want to say thank you, both myself and Menace. Want to say thank you for all the music and everything now. Just keeping us going here, giving us something to do, giving us something to play, giving us something to support. So thank you, man.
No problem, man. Thank you very much for having me.
Just before you bounce, now, a few artists, we've pushed them quite hard to do some quite dirty drops. DJ Hookid did a filthy one for us. I wonder if you could grace us. All you need to mention within this sordid drop that you're going to do for the show, this jingle, is just mention Conspiracy Radio. That's all you need to mention.
Oh, fuck, I hate doing these. All right then. Hello, my name is Dirty Dike. Oh, shit, I just can't be bothered to do one of them. I hate doing them.
Perfect.
That's perfect.
Sorry, man.
There you go. No, that's
They're shit, aren't they? They just sound so fake. Like, oh, yo, I'm in the place and I'm doing some shit. Shut the fuck up. Like,
do you know what the best ones are? Do you know what the fakest ones that even wind me up is when they go, I'm with my main man. I'm with my brothers. I don't even know them.
You don't want me to lie to you, do you?
All right, well, take care. God bless. And I'm sure hopefully we'll speak again very, very soon.
All right, man. Big up. Thank you for having me.
All right, take care. It's Dirty Dike, Conspiracy Worldwide.
You might have some romance with one of these religions. I have no romance with any of them. I have a romance with reality and truth.